All right. So I have the pleasure of actually introducing our keynotes today. And before we even get to that part and we talk about all of these great things about energy and whatnot, I want to find out from all of our audience members. I'm going to launch a poll right now, and I want to find out what is the most prevalent form of energy, used by your company. A lot of people use coal, some people use nuclear, some use natural gas, some use renewable energy sources. That's great, that's perfect. But I want to hear from everybody here in this audience. Like, what does it look like? Because I've been hearing different things with different types of energy, but I want to hear from you from the APAC region. What is it? So, right now we have natural gas in the lead. 57% say that they use natural gas. Some people say that 13% say that they use nuclear. That's very interesting. We have some renewable sources coming in at 27%. So I'll give you all a little bit of time to, let me hear what your feedback is about this. Who uses any sort of energy? Everybody has to use energy in their company, right? Oh boy. So we have nobody saying that they use coal. That might be a good thing. So I think we have most of the results. Let me show you results very quickly. So nobody used coal. That's a good thing. 6% of people use nuclear. Very interesting. 56% use natural gas. That's great. That's perfect. And we have 38% using renewable sources. That's very good. That's a lot of people using renewable sources of energy. So I want to try the next poll. Do you think we could realistically actually see an increase in alternative types of energy in the next 5 years? What do you think? I'm going to open the poll now. Do you think we could actually see that increase or maybe not? It's really up to us, but I'm going to hear from the APAC region. What do you all think that we can see in the next 5 years before we go into Nico's presentation and, all of the great things that he has to say to us? Wow, we're getting some very positive responses here. That's good. Very interesting. All right. I'm going to give you all 2 seconds again to sort of let me hear your answers. In there, we have yes being the predominant answer with 75%. We have 6% saying no, and 19% saying we can if we work together, which is great. So I'm just going to show you those results now. And yes, we definitely can if we work together. Well, let's hear from the expert himself. So Nicolas Leong, he is actually the Energy Business Director for North and Southeast Asia for Wärtsilä Energy. So he sees a lot about these things. And he's going to tell us this morning about actually rethinking energy in Southeast Asia. So I'm going to pass it over to Nico, and he's going to have the floor, and you all can ask some questions in the meantime. All right? Let me get it over to him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege and honor to be amongst you virtually today to talk about our joint energy future and how Southeast Asian countries can, with a clear roadmap, achieve net zero. First of all, a big thank you to the organizers for inviting us. I am sure that all of you have heard about the energy transition which is happening now and the ongoing race to net zero. The energy infrastructure which we have relied for generation and generation had to transform itself without disrupting supply. In other words, we need to shift power generation towards more renewable energy while we ensure that the lights stay on. It is possible. by rapidly increasing renewable energy sources, adding flexible balancing solution, and phasing out inflexible technology. It is possible. As leaders, we all need to take action today to ensure that we future-proof our power system. My name is Nicolas Leong from Wärtsilä, and now let me show you how we can achieve this. Since the year 2000, almost all economies in Southeast Asia have more than doubled in size. This growth has largely been powered by fossil fuels. According to the International Energy Agency, fuel export and energy security exposure has increased in Southeast Asia, will increase in South Asia unless clear planning and bold action is taken to accelerate the energy transition towards more renewable. Today, we see that net zero commitment being announced worldwide and also in Southeast Asia. Having a clear, actionable roadmap to net zero is becoming a requirement for international trade. This would provide great opportunities for countries that can get ahead of the net zero wave. We have an opportunity of a generation to transform power system. So, how do we transform? Transitioning to net zero is complex, and we require deep power system planning and a rapid level of implementation this decade. At Wärtsilä, we have modeled over 190 energy systems globally. And in our latest report that we have launched last year, we have looked at how Vietnam, the Philippines, and Indonesia can actually transition to net zero and with a lower cost. What this modeling shows was, number one, the Philippines could achieve net zero by 2050 and already by 2040 reduce power costs by 23%, potentially saving $9 billion in annual saving. Number two, Vietnam could achieve net zero by 2050 and cut power system costs by 20%, which could mean $28 billion in annual saving. And thirdly, Indonesia could achieve net zero by 2060 and cut their power saving costs by 23%, potentially saving $19 billion in saving. Each of these countries have different starting points, which affect the optimal path for transitioning to net zero system. However, there are a handful of common steps that they need to take. So, what do they need to do in order to transit net zero? Let us see on the next slide. We at Wärtsilä has found that decarbonisation can be achieved already today with the current technology that we have. There's no need to sit back and wait for new innovative solutions to save the day when we can actually already do it now. It is technically and commercially feasible with the right technology mix. How do we make this energy transition happen? And what are the steps to reach net zero? Throughout our power system modeling work, we have found that in order to build a net zero system, there are some similar key steps that regions worldwide should follow. However, the pace of the transition from region to region may differ. First, we need to rapidly increase the amount of renewable so that it can become the main source of energy. Second, by adding flexible technologies such as grid balancing engine and energy storage, we can support the integration of increasingly renewable energy. Then, our modeling shows that inflexible assets can be phased out, and phasing out coal should be and must be the priority for Southeast Asia. There is also a need for power-to-X capacity to produce carbon neutral or zero carbon fuel such as ammonia and hydrogen and convert this balancing plant to run on them. At this point, remaining fossil fuel capacity can then be rapidly phased out if it has not already been retired. We also need to look at policies. Policy intervention are needed to reward flexibility, ensuring a faster transition that is both optimal and economical. Transitioning to net zero is not done overnight. We need to ensure that we set up ourselves for future success. Shifting away from Southeast Asia current fossil dependent energy system demands transformation in which we plan to operate power system. This